This feature spotlight on Florida's reptile and alternative pet show is brought to you by ReptCare, television and videos for healthy and happy herbs.
In the Dragon School.
Hi, I'm Lauren Jashonik, and I am the show promoter for Aviculary Eye Productions, and welcome to our Super Show at the National Guard Armory.
Lauren, how did you get started in doing reptile shows?
It's a long story, but an interesting one. My second child was allergic to feathers, and I had a chicken farm. So my husband bought me an iguana, and that's how the love of reptiles started, with the one iguana. And I started going to other shows, and I started buying monitors and lizards and tegus. And when I went to the Herp Society, the men treated me like, oh, so you have an iguana? And there were very, very few women in the business at that time, and I didn't like the way the shows were run. It was like a good old boys club. So I started my own shows where people use tablecloths, the men shower and shave and wear deodorant, and everybody's friendly, and it's a nice family atmosphere here.
So you're saying it's okay for girls and women to have alternative pets?
Absolutely. In fact, I think that they probably take better care of them than the men. I am a Brooklyn girl, so we didn't get exposed to reptiles too often, but like every good Jewish Brooklyn girl, we would go to the Catskills for the summer. And naturally, there were frogs and lizards, and my first love became the bullfrog. And at that time, there was very, very little literature about them. So I hate to say it, I did kill some frogs because of lack of knowledge. And as I got older, I did more research, and I found that I love spiders. That's why, hence, Aviculary Production. It's pink-toed tarantula. And my interest in spiders is basically what animal can spill silk out of its butt. Tell me that. They are very, very interesting. They're arachnids, and that's basically an alternative pet. But at home, I also keep some reptiles. Monkey-tailed skinks, your prehensile tail skinks. I keep monitor lizards, tegus. What else do I keep? I keep a large selection here. A couple of snakes, a couple of ball pythons, and that's about it for my menagerie.
So chicks really do keep reptiles?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the younger, the better that they start with them. What I like about females is females won't overbreed. You hear about people double clutching. Honey, once you've given birth once in a year, you are not going to do it twice. So I think our female herpetologists out there are just herp enthusiasts, really, will not double clutch their snakes. And that's why I think that females are probably better. And I think females are just basically neater with their animals and more observant than the males.
And how long have you been doing this here in West Palm Beach?
We started in 2000, and now it's 2007, so it's 7 years now. But we started off small with one show at the Days Inn, and unfortunately that we got kicked out because of the hurricane. And this is my biggest show. I've been growing it slowly.
Now, how would you describe the growth of keeping reptiles and amphibians and alternative pets in South Florida that you've seen based on the shows that you're doing and the other work that you do here in this area?
Well, I think that it's become mainstreamed. At one time, it was just men. At one time, the breeding techniques were kept secrets. Books like Gerald Marzak wrote, The Reproductive Husbandry of Boas and Pythons, taught a lot of people how to breed. The explosion of the bearded dragon brought tons of women into the hobby. And children started, children are always naturally curious. Their parents started accepting it, and hence more children are raising reptiles now than ever before. You know what I love about these shows is that it gives people a chance to get educated on reptiles. They're not just buying it and taking it home. They're talking to the breeder. They're learning how to care for it. They're meeting people like ReptilesTV.com, where they can go and get information on the animal that they've purchased. We do not promote buying an animal and letting it go. We promote responsible husbandry. And 99.9% of the people that buy animals at our show do not release them because they've been educated, because there's so much literature out there, and because the shows provide a venue for this education. we also give back to the community. I do 3 shows a year at Flamingo Gardens. The proceeds go directly to Flamingo Gardens. I do not make a cent on that show, but that's our way of giving back to the community and educating them about reptiles. At that show, we have a lot of stop, look, and learn tables. We have a couple of breeders there, captive bred breeders, and that's what we do.
The preceding spotlight on Florida's Reptile and Alternative Pet Show was brought to you by ReptCare, television and videos for healthy and happy herps.